So it's no secret that 2023 was a horrible year, but in today's video, I'm gonna do something really different. Over the course of the year, we have asked thousands of truck drivers to comment on certain topics. Topics like the most common briberies that happen in our industry, what fleet owners do to manipulate driver logs, why money was being withheld from a driver, and what kind of slowdown the drivers feel throughout the year and delays between loads. So listen to what these thousands of drivers had to say in our polls and what the outcome of these polls were. Really interesting results. Well, let's get to it. All right, so our first poll, we asked company drivers if they feel a slowdown in the economy and what kind of delays are they experiencing. Well, 42% of truck drivers said that they are experiencing delays between loads, meaning from the time they do the delivery until the time they do a pickup, there is a delay. It's not like it was probably in the beginning of the year or 2 years ago where you would have your pickup address right before you would do a delivery. So 26% of the truck drivers said they feel absolutely no delays and everything work is just as usual. And 12% said that they're experiencing delays when there are layovers between loads. So 12% of these 2,000 drivers said that there are layovers between loads. And another 12% said that they're still driving crazy miles up to the maximized miles on their logbooks, meaning that they're not experiencing any delays. Now, another 8% said that yes, they're experiencing delays and that they are not going to be staying with the same company that they're working for right now. So that was poll number 1. So before we get into poll number 2 on what fleet owners do to manipulate drivers' logs, I have to say that, it's over 50% of truck drivers that have felt delays between loads. Now, I don't care what company you're working for. I've talked to a lot of fleet owners and we are all experiencing the same thing. There's a huge slowdown in our economy. The miles are just not the same. The backhauls are just not the same, and especially the freight rates. It's just not what it used to be, and we're hoping that in Q2 or Q3 of 2024, things will be much better. Now, our second poll, what in the world do fleet owners do in order to manipulate drivers' logs? 43% of drivers said that they use personal conveyance, or the fleet owners force them to go under personal conveyance. 22% of them said that they're shortening their times at their shippers and their receivers. 17% said that they add a fake driver or a ghost driver. 11% said that they deactivate their logs, and 7% said that they delete trips. Now, this is horrifying news because I can assure you that if something happens and you are falsifying your logbooks, everything's nice and dandy when you get away with it. But if God forbid something happens on the road and you are caught with falsifying your logbooks and something major happens, I can assure you that that driver is going away for a long time. All right, so into our next poll is what kind of bribery have you heard of or experienced in the trucking industry? So is there bribery in our industry? Well, let's see what the truck drivers have to say. 40% of them said that they feel that there is bribery amongst dispatchers giving gifts or money to dispatchers. 23% said that there is bribery, or they see that there's briberies at the shippers. 20% says that there's bribery at the receivers. 11% said that they are bribing mechanics in order to get them to fix their stuff faster. And 6% are bribing a fleet or a safety manager. Okay, so this is crazy information. I actually had no clue about this. Bribing, the dispatchers, yes. I don't know if it's customary or not, but I know our dispatchers here, and I know dispatchers at other companies, they do get, holiday gift basket, but the company also gives gift baskets and clothing and swag to our drivers. I do and have heard of the bribing the shipper, bribing the receiver in order to give them, you slip them a 20, slip them a 40 before you get offloaded, or in order to get offloaded faster or to get loaded faster. Safety manager, this is definitely the first time I've heard of a safety manager, and definitely the first time I have heard of a mechanic. If you missed the poll, please guys, comment down below. I'm sure you guys all have some very interesting stories on where you have experienced bribery. All right, next one. A lot of truck drivers face the situation where their employee has withheld their pay. We want to know what is the reason or excuse they give you when they're trying to withhold your pay in an unlawful deduction. The reason and the way I come up with these polls is because I get a lot of truck drivers here at my office when we're recruiting them, and I hear a lot of stories about drivers getting withheld with their pay, or other companies doing, some fraudulent stuff with their ELD these. So I come up with these ideas and these polls. I mean, I would say that probably 80 or 90% of all truck drivers have experienced the company withholding their pay. So I want to know, what's the reason behind the company withholding their pay, or what's at least the reason that they're giving you the reason behind withholding your pay. So 37% said that they blame the driver for a breakdown. It was driver negligence. So driver wants to leave a company. Right away, the company says that, okay, you have to pay for X, Y, and Z repair because it was the driver's fault that the breakdown happened, meaning they blamed it on driver negligence. 30% said that made up story on equipment damage. So the safety manager or the company that they work for, they say, hey, there's scratches on the trailer, you need to pay for those scratches on the trailer. 17% said that the company closed down and did not pay them. So this is actually extremely common here in Canada. 11% said that they did not give enough notice. So the reason that their pay was withheld, and I want you to know that all these cases are illegal, but the reason that their pay was held because they didn't give enough notice to their previous company. So driver quit the job, didn't give 2 weeks notice. All of a sudden the company says, we're withholding your pay. Why are you withholding our pay? Well, because you didn't give us enough notice, okay? And then 6% said that outstanding tickets and fines. So the reason that they're withholding the driver's pay is because along the line, somehow there's outstanding tickets and fines. So I want you guys all to know that in all 5 scenarios that this is illegal and the companies cannot go after company drivers for damages. They cannot go after a driver or legally withhold a pay because the driver did not give enough notice. They also cannot blame the driver for a breakdown and it was driver negligence, okay? So these things companies cannot do. Now, in our next topic, you ever wonder if truck drivers support unions? Well, in a recent poll that I've conducted with over 1,500 truck drivers, 56% said that they do support unions, while 44% said that they do not support unions. All right, guys, so I'd love for you to start taking part in my polls because I think this is really cool information about truck drivers, the stats, and things that happen to truck drivers along the way. So make sure you're a part of this channel and leave a comment down below. If you weren't a part of these polls, leave a comment down below on what you think. I'm Ronen, and I'll catch you in my next video.